Felicity Ward, welcome to Fwend.
Thank you for having me. I tried to think of a word that could use the letter W instead of an R, and I couldn't.
Felicity?
Felicity?
Felicity Ward.
Oh, so in my own name then?
We'll just swap them.
Ward.
Well, we do start this podcast. By
Very
us.
formally.
Very formally.
With a dance.
With a dance. Consider this your Deb.
This
is your, what do they call it, where they welcome you in the
Yeah.
season and your arrival and you go down the stairs?
We
and...
didn't have a Deb, which is
No,
really
neither.
strange.
I got asked to do one and I politely declined because you had to learn how to dance.
I don't think we had them.
You got the curry for today, though, yeah?
Yeah. And
That's right,
5,
Doc.
6, 7, 8.
But we do ask our new friends, do you, Felicity Ward, think you are a good friend?
I think I am a good friend. I put a lot of effort into my friendships, and I have, I think that when I was younger, I thought I was a good friend, but I think I was actually very self-seeking, and a lot of it came from neediness, and that I would do things and expect things in return and try to keep my friends at the same standard that I was contributing, which is a transactional friendship, not unconditional love.
Well, that's all we need. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Thank you for joining us.
Bye.
That's the kind of boiled down.
I have a feeling today is going to be a studied episode. It's going to be someone who's done the homework.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, how did you realise that? Because that's quite, that involves quite a bit of
I've
self-reflection.
done a lot of therapy.
Great.
I mean, a lot
Great.
of therapy. I'm in support groups. I'm exhausting.
Yeah.
The amount of work that, I say this often, but the amount of work it takes and has taken my entire life to get by is embarrassing. I have to do so much work for things to go okay.
Yeah.
Oh, what a disappointment. You know, there's people that just glide through their life. They're like, I didn't really think about it. I'm like, fuck off. All I do is think about it.
Yeah.
And it's a 6 out of 10. Do you know what I mean?
Are you someone that I feel, and I feel this way with friendships, I think, where, and it might be an ADHD thing or just a general kind of neuro thing where during a festival, if I'm doing a festival, it is easier because I'm kind of told where to go when and everyone's kind of there. And like it's all cramped in and it's like
Someone
from
else
this
is
to this
organised.
to this. Well, but even if I'm organising as well, I at least have a plan for the day. Like crunched up things make me feel calmer than spread out things.
Yes.
Like, and friendships are that way, I think, as well, where if I can see someone every day, like during Edinburgh or something, I make a friend and they're my friend for the next month, my best friend in the whole world. Whereas my real best friends, probably it's like, I'm not going to see you for 6 months and that's my fault.
Yeah. Yeah, I find festivals really challenging because it's sort of like that, the idea of, this is a terrible example, but it feels worse to feel lonely in a marriage than being single. It feels worse to feel lonely in a festival when you're surrounded by friends and you can't find any of them. That's what I find really difficult.
Everyone?
Yeah, you're like, what are you guys doing? Anyone? And you've texted like 18 people, and because I'm ADHD, I'll do it like the minute that I'm available, not in advance.
Yeah.
There's no like, what are you guys doing tonight? It's my show finishes. I text a bunch of people. No one gets back to me. I'm like, walk into the Yarra?
Is everyone? But then you'll get there and they're all there too.
Yeah.
Depends on the
And they're having a great time. But I will say that, like, and I'm not just saying this because it's you guys, but like having Comedy Republic, knowing that I could go there after the show and a mate will be there, it has been so calming to my nervous system, like walking in and going, oh, Fwends. Really every
That's why we
single
made
time
it.
I've gone there. And I've had like,
Totally.
and it's not the same as going to a festival bar where you've got a mask and you've got to talk to people you don't really know.
Yeah.
And some people are talking to you because you're the filler until one of their friends gets
A lot
there.
of shoulder overlooking.
And then there's the shoulder surfing element. And then there's sometimes I'm someone that someone is talking to because of that reason too. Very rarely. Very
no,
rarely.
but it's nice though.
Is it? Well, no.
For a minute.
For a sec, you're like, oh, and then you're like, oh, you're very intense and you're just starting out in comedy and I support you, but I also don't have the serotonin for this.
Yes.
That's why I've always been really jealous of people who have sort of like a big group of friends and they've got a tradition that like Friday night you just go to that pub and whoever's around turns up. That's always been my dream, where it's just like every Friday or whatever day people just go to this one particular place, like Comedy Republic. It's
Yes.
just like a safe place, no organising required. You can just turn up if
Yes.
you can do it.
No
Well, I
planning.
think that you need to have a job for that.
Yeah, I think
And we don't
so.
have jobs.
And we've got scattered friends all over the place.
Absolutely. But
Yeah.
do you know what? I've recently moved to a part of London, and the first woman I ever went on a date with, we went on a date and like we really liked each other, but we couldn't figure out whether we wanted to be friends or we wanted to be girlfriends. And then we sort of figured out that we liked each other, but we weren't really attracted to each other.
I think that's the bisexual lament, isn't
It-
it? The
mate.
kind of,
Fucking tell me about it.
yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out if we're friends.
Yeah. No, I think we're I wouldn't
Simply
even call
lovers.
I wouldn't call what we do lovers. Hate. We make hate. So we're talking very much about friends of the now. But if I was to say first Fwend, what does that make you think of?
Do you know, look, my catchphrase is I can make anything sad. And
Okay.
because I was thinking about like my first friend.
Plus time.
Plus time equals, here she bloody is.
Yay!
She's worked so hard and she's got a very okay career. She's put a lot of work into it, just like a friendship. There was a girl in primary school, in kindergarten, and I was like, we're best friends. And she's like, yeah, we're best friends. And we were friends. But I look back on it, I'm like, I was very tolerated. Do you know what I mean? And I think that might be a little bit of a neurodivergent thing too, like realising that you're feeling like you're too much your whole life. And I felt like I was a little bit maybe of like a bit of a court jester in the girls group.
Whereabouts is this?
This is an hour and a half north of Sydney, not quite as north as Newcastle. A little town. It sounds like a joke. If you're not from Australia, I went to Pretty Beach Public School, and the area was called Pretty Beach.
And it's hard to take that, like, is it a beautiful beach or is it like, it's kind of beach? It's pretty beach.
It's pretty. It's fairly beach.
It's fairly beach also sounds like a place in Australia.
Yeah. Almost beach. Well, weirdly, it's the bay. Like there's Hardy's Bay, and then attached to that is the area called Pretty Beach, but there isn't really a beach. And then over the hill is Kilcare Beach, where we made the big move when I was 11 from the bay to the beach, and that beach
to the Big Smoke.
the Big Smoke of Kilcare, and that's one of the most beautiful beaches in the world.
Yeah.
That's a proper beach,
And
it's
so at this age, are you like down at the beach a lot? Are you hanging out with...
every day.
Yeah.
Every day. That's the weird thing about having a kid in London. Like, I go, where do we go?
Yeah.
Because we didn't do anything. We just went to the beach.
Yeah.
Or we go for a bushwalk, or we do some crafts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did that for like 15 years.
Yeah.
Like, I often think those areas, like Newcastle as well, where it is still where even into the mid to late 90s, they were still doing 70s parenting because it was they were kind of methy areas, but they were also like I just go to the beach on a Saturday and a Sunday from 9 till 5, and that was just like bye,
Yeah.
no phone, bye,
Yeah.
good luck to you.
I worry about your skin cells.
That's exactly. We weren't
Yes.
allowed from 11 till 2. We had to come home.
Yeah.
Oh, see,
Yeah.
maybe I'm doing it's like the 40s in my family then.
Yeah. You're
So
going
you
back.
and your mates would just head down to the beach on your own?
Me and my sister.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then all of our other friends would be there. And that's the entire
Sort of
school
like Comedy
holidays.
Republic.
Yeah, actually. They'd just be there. It was that, or we go to Erina Fair, which was and still is the biggest one-levelled shopping centre in the Southern Hemisphere. Thank you so much.
Wow.
That's our claim to fame. It absolutely destroyed the city of Gosford, but,
Yeah.
that's capitalism and the free
Gosford
market.
had it coming.
Gosford's always got it coming.
Yeah.
I went to Gosford High School and I forgot until I did a show there a couple of years ago and went back and went, oh, that's right. We had to walk past a methadone clinic to get to high school.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the coast for you.
He's like, oh, there's my
Talent's got
maths teacher.
everything.
Wow.
No. My maths teacher ended up impregnating one of the students.
Oh.
And they ran away together. Isn't that so sweet?
That's nice.
What
It
a
worked out.
great
Notes on a
It
scandal.
worked out. That's
Oh,
exactly
God.
how I would say.
Are you still friends with anyone from school?
There is people that I stay in touch with from primary school.
From primary school? That's impressive.
Oh, just like one or two of them because they're still
Yeah.
on the coast.
Yeah.
And like they either run into my friends or we're Facebook friends or
Yeah, okay.
we're not super close.
Yeah.
But my my best friend in the whole world I met in high school, and that's probably the
We'll
answer
save
to the
that.
next question.
Okay.
Well, the next question is fastest Fwend.
Yeah.
Felicity Ward.
Yeah.
Who were you fastest Fwends with?
My fastest friend is still my best friend, and we went to high school together, but we were in separate classes, and so we didn't really. And she was upper class. I was no. That's a joke. We were both scumbags. We're the scumbag. To clarify, we went to a selective school, so we were smart but poor. And
I'd prefer that than the other way.
yeah, me too. Rich and dumb. What a powerful combination. You see it across the world.
It really is. It really is.
It's working out for some.
Many.
Yeah.
1%, in fact. But there was a mufti day. Do they call them? I mean, you're from
Yeah, we know Mufti days.
Mufti
I'm
day.
from WA. What's Mufti Day?
Free clothes day. Where you
Like
get
no uniform.
no uniform day.
Uniform
day.
Did you have a word for it?
Yeah, uniform free day.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
you go.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's dumb.
Kyran went to a private school.
And rich.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah. Karen's doing great. That's what we called Mufti. Non-uniform day.
Which is mad when we
don't
think
know.
mufti.
Yeah, as Australia notoriously influenced by Muslim culture in the 80s.
Big time.
It's Mufti Day at Pretty Beach.
Yeah.
So mufti day happened. You clocked each other's outfits.
So it was 1994.
Okay.
We were both into grunge. We were both wearing brown corduroy trousers. Of course. Of course we were.
Yep.
Probably
Battle
not a
bond
t-shirt
people.
dissimilar to this.
It's a beach.
Yeah.
It's a beach town. Wear thick, heavy clothing.
Absolutely. Hey, you're lucky I wasn't a goth.
Yeah.
And shout out to any goths that grew up on beaches. The strongest
Yeah.
of all of us.
Newcastle.
Yeah.
A lot of paracels. I think
Yeah.
that's why, like kind of Morticia Adams style.
Oh, yeah.
Tiny little things.
I can respect that a lot.
And just their makeup
Necktie.
dripping in
Is that Michael
35.
Jackson? Oh, no.
Comedian Greg Larson was a goth in Brisbane.
Oh,
Really?
That's a humid place to be
that's
goth.
committed.
That's commitment,
Queensland
isn't it?
goths.
Yeah, they're the toughest.
Yeah.
They're the toughest of all.
Anyway, so you weren't a goth. You were a grunge kid.
I was a grunge kid.
You got the brown pants. You've
Yeah, and
spotted
we were
your
sitting
friend.
next to each other on the school bus, and she's like, "I like your chords." I'm like, "I like your chords." And then we started talking about music, and I'd always written poetry, and she played bass, and she played piano, and she played a little bit of guitar. And then we were like, we should be in a band, and then we started a band, and then
nice.
so we were a little all-girl grunge band on the Central Coast.
What was the band called?
It's called Bastion. Is the little boy that reads in the Never-Ending
Yeah.
Story.
Bastion
Great.
Balthasar Bucks.
There you go.
Yeah.
Do you remember some of the song names?
Yeah. We had, what was it? Oh, far out.
Atreyu.
Yeah.
Falcor.
Artex, Falcor. We did write, far out, I can't think of, there was one that was Butcher Baker Candlestick Maker. That was one of them. I remember the songs, but I can't remember the names of them.
What were you
the
writing?
sort of themes?
Yeah,
of
what were
the
you writing
songs?
about?
It depends on who was writing them. Noreen, who was, she was, so Shannon's my best friend, and Shannon's cousin Noreen was living with Shannon at the time, and she played guitar, and she was a very good guitarist and a songwriter. And I would write songs every now and again, but it was sort of lots of, which was the style of the times, writing sort of using existing fantasy stories to sort of get in your teenage themes and ideas.
Oh, I love that.
Or like,
Cool.
like she wrote a song from the perspective of the monkey who went to the moon, for example. Like she was great. She was
pretty advanced.
How old were you?
14, 15.
That's
Because
incredible.
I was in a band at that age, and we had a song called "I Like Your Face."
Oh, what was that
So-
about?
The lyrics were, "I like your face, I like your face, I like your face, I like your face, I like your face."
It was about a watch.
That's
Effective.
that's very much
So I feel
like,
like
the
it's-
movie We Bought a Zoo.
I've never seen that film. Does it just go, "We bought a zoo, we bought a zoo, we bought a zoo"?
I'm never going to see that film. I got very turned off by films that just say what you see,
Yeah.
like the Marigold Hotel. I'm like,
Yeah.
I wonder what
Snakes
that's
on a
about.
plane.
Yeah.
Snakes on a plane.
So we had formed this very codependent relationship. And we would hang out together all day, and then I only found this out recently. She knew when I got off the bus and I got home, because I was like half an hour longer on the bus, and then she would give me enough time to get changed and have a Milo, and then she would call me. And then we would talk for like another hour on the phone. Like we still have never run out of things to say. Yes, we are both neurodivergent. It's funny, she got diagnosed with ADHD probably about 4 or 5 years ago, and she's like, have you thought about ever? And I was like, yeah. And she goes, cool. And then she got diagnosed with autism maybe a year and a half ago, and she's like, have you ever? I'm like, I don't know. She's like, there's a lot of similarities between us, mate. And I'm like, okay. And I'm not like against having autism.
No.
There's just lots of things that I don't necessarily relate to, but it's a
And I
spectrum.
think it's also it's a thing that gets thrown around now. Like, a lot of people in our industries and communities are getting diagnosed and stuff like that. And it's like, I do it with ADHD all the time. And I think it's easier potentially to diagnose when there are more things to grip onto.
Yeah.
But once you get diagnosed, you start just trying to do it to everyone else.
Yeah.
And I think autism's potentially a little bit the same, where you're like, well, I feel this way, and I kind of see it in you, so you probably have it as well.
Yeah.
And I think it's a tougher...
I think it's also getting used in the way that people, and perhaps still, but used to use OCD, of like, oh, I'm just a bit OCD. And it's like, well, no, that's actually got a clinical definition.
Yeah.
That's not
we have
necessarily...
much more general understanding of what ADHD is than
Yeah.
autism still.
The thing is, just to be clear, I have not been diagnosed with ADHD, but I am riddled.
Yeah.
But that is one of the symptoms.
I'm
Ritalin.
Ritalin. Oh, I'm getting the pronunciation.
One of the symptoms of having ADHD is having not been diagnosed with ADHD.
Yeah.
It feels like that's part of
I've lost 2 referrals to get tested. And back in 1999, when it was like pretty demonised to have ADHD, I worked for a retired nurse at a cafe, and 2 weeks into working there, she said, Felicity, can you please have some of my son's Ritalin? You definitely have ADHD. And then something I totally forgot about, I did a sketch show called the Ronnie Johns Half Hour, and our director was so chilled out. He was the nicest guy. And I remember us coming back in like the minibus from location, and he turned around and he went, Felicity, not everything's a song.
Well, that's just not true.
And I was like, not everything's
Maybe
a
it
song.
was for you in the 90s. Were there that many all-women punk bands that you were looking up to? Like, where did you get the inspiration to go, like, you were allowed to do this?
Well, I mean, there was the Breeders weren't all girls, but they were, they were led by women, and there was L7, and there was the Clouds, an Australian band. Like there was lots of. It was a cool time to be a woman in rock.
It's still too early for Latigra, but I think like what's it called? Riot Girls is maybe starting around then. Girls.
Yeah, girls. Thank you. Correct.
I often think about those really fast friendships as well early on, especially when you look at the people that we end up being in creative industries. There is like a feeling when you meet someone, like connecting at that age is you're like, I just want to make something with you. Like that's almost your love language at that age. Do you think that's kind of what it was?
Oh, it was everything. Like Shannon and I are, I was going to say inseparable, but we actually stopped being friends for a couple of years when we went to different high schools and we turned into different versions of ourselves. Mm-hmm. And then I will tell you a story in a second, which is like the greatest thing she's ever said to me. And I'll probably cry because it's one of the most profound things I've ever heard in my life.
If you could just point that cry to that camera there.
Yeah, and we'll just zoom slowly in.
Thank you.
Yeah, that'd be really good. Yeah.
But my favourite thing in the world, if you haven't picked it up, is talking. I like when Cal Wilson died, and we had to write stories about like what we did together. Cal and I didn't do anything. We just talked.
Yeah.
All we did was talk, and it is the most satisfying thing to me. It fills up my soul, and like being with other people that. A conversation could go till 5 o'clock in the morning if like there were no boundaries.
Yeah.
That's my dream. And me and Shannon, it happened immediately. And we had such similar creative endeavours, but like we created this dream teenagehood where her mum said, you can have the garage. And so we went to the tip and we got a couch and we found this sign that said live entertainment. And there was a piano downstairs and we had guitars and amps. And so me, Noreen and Shannon would read each other stories. So we read The Neverending Story and we read like books to each other and we wrote music and it was like a film.
Yeah.
There are also like tributes to things that you like as well. Like you're creating little kind of like...
Yes.
epitaphs is the wrong word, but like kind of, and you're showing how much you're connecting on one thing. Oh, that's so nice.
How much of a foundation has that been for the rest of your life?
Oh,
Like that period of time?
absolutely instrumental. Like I was a very it's funny, at the time I felt incredibly androgynous, and I actually felt very, very ugly. I was very weedy. I didn't go through puberty till late. Like I didn't get my period till I was nearly 15. I didn't get boobs till I was 17. And haven't they come out? And so I was like, I really had to develop a personality because there was nothing. I was in the Central Coast and everyone knew how to wear short skirts and have a tan and wear lip gloss. So I had to really like have interests, and I was weird, and I sort of, rather than going, oh my God, I'm actually really jealous of all those girls who know how they understand their sexuality and they're exploring it. I was like, I don't even want to do that. I'm gonna cut my hair off and like wear flares and like I don't even care. And I had a really smart mouth, and I grew up in a house where that was our love language. And I have since found out that some people felt like I was a bully, and I didn't know that at the time.
Yeah.
I thought I was being bullied sometimes, and then you look back and go, oh no, and then I ganged up on that person with that like little sectional groups, and it's it's hurt people, sure, but it's like you get a little superpower of realizing that you're funny. And then you find yourself just like...
I was brutal.
Well, the teasing thing is like you can tease affectionately and not necessarily read that people are not reading it that way.
Yeah,
I totally get that.
It was beyond that. Like we used to have a joke, and this was... A lot of my family stories were funny until I went to therapy. We were like we used to... we thought it was really funny when we'd bring a boyfriend over. Because dinner at our house was a war. It was an evisceration.
Oh wow!
And I thought that was really funny and like, oh, do you remember those poor guys that came over? And you're like, yeah, you grew up in that. I'm like, oh, I was a little girl.
Do you mean like you're all sort of having big debates and arguments, or is it like
no, it's not debate.
Taking each other down.
Taking each other down.
It's just roast battles constantly.
It's roast battles.
Just roast.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and that's why we did so well together.
Yeah.
We understand each other.
Yes. I can do this comfortably.
Yeah, really comfortably. They're like, go darker. I'm like, oh. Okay.
But so you're saying that that time was really foundational, and Sharon herself was really foundational.
Shannon, yes.
Shannon was really
absolutely.
foundational.
Like and it's so cool, like being able to go, I was in an all-girl grunge band in the 90s, and you don't know that that's cool at the time. You're trying to be cool because you're a teenager.
Yeah.
Everyone's trying to be cool when they're a teenager or not get noticed, like whatever it is to make it okay. But I think I was talking to Ellis James years ago, who's a Welsh comic, and he was talking about being a teenager, and he goes, and of course it was cutting edge because you're never more cutting edge than when you are a teenager. I was like, oh yeah, because you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't have a lifetime of disappointments, of rejections, of people telling you what's good and what's not. You're just like, fuck you.
Yeah.
I'm 15.
Exactly.
And it is that beautiful time in life where you think you're really busy and you've got so much going on, but you actually have nothing going on.
You're all
You've
passion.
got an empty, beautiful, free brain
Yes.
and all this time and lack of distraction and responsibility to just like talk for hours and read each other poems and like let your thoughts go right to the end and combine.
Power of naivety.
And I also think
amazing.
I've tried to stop saying, especially to like baby comedians, but also just young people, like if someone says, oh, I'm 20, I've tried to stop saying, oh, you're a baby, because of how much I hated that when I was that age.
I know.
And I used to say this on stage, but it's like, because I'm the oldest I've ever been in my whole life.
Oh, you said that.
And that feels really old.
I knew that someone has said that before, and I couldn't.
Yeah, I mean, I might have stolen it from someone, but
Probably.
I definitely started saying
that sounds
it
like you.
on television.
Yeah.
And that makes it mine. But like, I do think that at that age, when people say, oh, you don't know what falling in love is, or you don't know, it's like, no, I think I'm working it out and potentially actually have more insight into it because it's happening to me pure.
Yeah.
Like it's happening to me with no shields up.
Yeah. I have such fond memories of the 90s, and I know a lot of people do for the decade that they grew up in. But there was a real cool expression that I was a part of.
Did you do shows? Did you play gigs?
We played gigs, yeah.
Cool.
And a weird thing about me is I am you know, you've probably seen my stand-up. I'm very confident on stage. It's the place that I feel almost as comfortable as I do in a good conversation. Singing is the most nervous I will ever be. We were in this grunge band, and I would look up to the ceiling the entire time. I could not. It's so vulnerable because I think that you're a singer, but I think, and this sounds very daggy, very corny, I think that singing is the sound of your soul. And I think that is so vulnerable. Like, yes, these are jokes that I'm telling on stage, and that's really vulnerable because the only correct response is laughter. But I'm like, I've got a hang of it now. But singing, you're just like, these are lyrics that I wrote about something that I think and that I care about, and here is the sound of my soul performing that.
And I think there's also more parameters. There's definites to singing in terms of sounding good or bad. Like, everyone has an idea of something to do with that. And so if you have like perfect pitch and like really soulful voice, people are like, on a primal level, you're like, oh, that's real nice. And as soon as someone is a little bit flat, everyone knows what sounding flat sounds like, even if you have no training in music.
But then there are people who cannot sing who are incredible singers.
Yes.
Like Johnny Cash, for example.
Yes. Jack White.
Yeah, they can't really, like, Johnny Cash can't, like, he doesn't have an incredible voice, but he's an incredible storyteller.
Yes.
And when you listen to his music, you're just like, oh, my guts hurt, and I don't know why.
Maybe it's also something about the physicality of, like, what you have to exert in order to sing. Like, speaking is, you know, close. But to sing, you have to kind of physically...
You have to open.
Yeah.
Have Shannon and you ever been able to talk and tell each other what that time meant?
Because we can just send her the file.
Yeah, we talk about it all the time. Like, so if I can just tell you this, we went to separate schools, and weirdly, we were living in the same town. We were both living in Kilcare, so we were living the closest that we'd ever lived, but we didn't really see each other. She was going to, that was afterwards. Sorry. So she went to a school out in the Southern Highlands. I went to school in Sydney, and I got a scholarship for this performing arts school. What, me? What a surprise! And I turned into a bit of a wanker, and because I was surrounded by, you know, it was fame. It was what the school was.
Yeah.
It was exactly that.
Yeah.
And I just loved it. But the band wasn't happening anymore, and I got back in touch with her when school had finished, I think, or it was towards the end. And I was like, I'd love to see you. And we hadn't seen each other for like a couple of years.
Wow.
And we met up, and she said, do you want to just meet up so we can get the band back together? And I was like, no, I miss your friendship. And then we were talking about it, and she said, sorry, I can't tell this without crying. She said, I always knew I'd meet you on the third hill. And I said, what did you mean? She goes, I knew that you go over your hill and I go over my hill, and I knew we could always meet on the third hill.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
My God.
Beautiful.
And I think about that all the time. Like
How old
What a
were you?
thoughtful teenager.
Oh, mate, Shannon has. I told her this last time. Like, I'm a lot more gentle than I was when I was a teenager. I've done a lot of work on myself, as I sort of said earlier. And I think about myself now as a pretty thoughtful person and a kind person. Gentle I still struggle with, but I try and be as tender as I can with the people that I love. But it's still like a concerted effort, especially after a while. I can take advantage of people or like become contemptuously used to them. Do you know what I mean? Like familiarity breeds contempt.
Oh, Wes. So the same. And it's not often people are the same as me on this podcast. So it's very nice. It's really nice to be here.
We're so similar. There's so much of our lives that's similar.
Yeah.
But Shannon, I was incredibly judgmental. I'm sure you weren't. And I know.
I'm literally a judge on a show.
But like, I was so judgmental as a teenager. I was incredibly patronising to her too. And she always just loved me, and she always accepted me. And I said to her the last time we met up, I was like, it's just something I've always admired about you, is that she loves people for who they are, and she accepts them. Whether she loves them or not, she accepts people for who they are. And she's sort of like, she's not religious, but she's got that all God's children the way she looks at humanity and the way she looks at people. And it's such a gentleness that isn't intrinsic to me that I admire about her so much. But she's had such an enormous impact on my life and continues to have an enormous impact on my life. She's just like, she's magic. I just can't get enough of her.
That's such a perceptive thing, to be able to not respond to something at face value, but to think beyond that to, what's going on for them? What's, what might be the underlying reason for this behaviour, which is a bit out of character, and maybe I'll approach that gently. Like, that takes a real maturity and... Yeah,
she's incredibly emotionally intelligent. And it was actually at our high school reunion that someone said, like, they said, do you keep in touch with anyone here? And she said, Felicity's still my best friend. And they said, she bullied me. And Shannon was able to say, there's a lot of stuff going on at home, and she's not like that now. I'm sure she will be devastated to hear this. And I am. And there's actually, I was never aware that I was bullying anyone, except there was one girl that I did bully on the bus, and I did it a couple of times, and I've tried to find her. But again, there's an element of me going, I don't know if she would want to hear from me, because there is a support group that I'm a part of that you make amends, and part of that amends is asking whether someone wants to hear them, because I don't make amends to people for my own soul. It's to make it okay for them, do you know? And I do that now. If I hurt someone's feelings, it's about giving them the opportunity to be heard rather than me going, I've got to get this off my chest.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Is it good for them or just good for me?
Well, that kind of maybe neatly brings us to the third question, which is former Fwend. Who would you...
Which can mean many things.
It can mean many things, but who would you talk about if we brought up former Fwends?
I have a real heartbreak of... I had a friend in London who we were very, very good friends. And we talked about, like, we met and, like, we got along really well, and then we were like, we should be friends. And then we became really good friends, and then we spoke like a couple of times a week. We'd see each other once a week. We'd gig together all the time. And then a couple of things happened in my life, and I felt her pull away a little bit, but I thought maybe I was just imagining it. And I've come to...
Without giving details... or whatever, but
their name was
good things or bad things happen in your life, like as in, or when you say a couple of things happened, do you mean
I had something very bad happen to me? And look, it's very difficult to explain in a way that doesn't.
I guess I'm more kind of. I think I had in my head, was it like?
No, it wasn't my success.
No,
it wasn't my success. I had something pretty traumatic happened to me, which had also happened to them in a way previously. And they could not be
couldn't look at it.
Yes, and it was something that happened between me and my partner at the time, and they didn't want to be around my partner, and so they pulled away from me as well. And I was like, I'm being punished for something that I had nothing to do with. And it was and then it was like maybe a year later that I had a kid, and then I messaged them the day that my kid was born, and they're like, that's amazing. And then like a month later, I hadn't heard from them, and they're one of my closest friends. I'm like, is everything all right? They're like, I'm just really busy. I've got this TV thing and I'm doing touring. And I'm like, And then I got a job in Australia, and I was like, I would love you to meet my kid before I go away for 4 months. And they're like, I don't know if I can do it. And then I went to Australia for 3 months, and I just didn't hear from them. And I went through, I mean, I say one of the hardest periods of my life. Fuck, I've had some hard periods of my life. But this was particularly
this is another hill. When am I meeting another person?
Has anyone ever heard of a fucking plateau around here? Jesus Christ. I'd love a plane. I'd kill for a tundra.
Well, friendship heartbreak is such a hard one because it's not something that we really have language for.
There aren't songs about
Well, if that was a relationship, there would be a conversation about breaking up as opposed to, and why.
We had one.
You had one.
We could, because they got in touch 4 months later, they sort of like sent me an Instagram meme, like a picture, and they're like, this person reminds me of you. And I was like, I haven't heard from you for 4 months. I'm not willing to pick up where we left off without a conversation.
Yeah.
We're not at memes.
We're not at meme level, absolutely
Memes
not.
are earned.
Yeah. But it was like, I'm not for everyone. I'm really direct. And I don't know if that's a neurodivergent thing, but like a lot of my friends are neurodivergent, and we're like, I want to be friends. They're like, I also want to be friends. I'm like, great, we're friends. It's like, it's pretty immediate. I don't have slow burn friendships.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, are we getting married? What's happening?
Yeah.
Now?
Yeah.
Great, we're
Yeah.
in.
So when you had that conversation, how did it kind of play out?
They gave me some
As much as you wanna
reasons
share,
that seemed absolutely insane to me.
Yeah.
No, they didn't seem insane. They made absolutely no sense.
Yeah.
And the examples that they gave, I was just like, I couldn't believe what I was hearing.
Yeah.
And then we tried to sort of I tried to keep the friendship going. I was like, maybe we can have another go at this. And then I realised after a while that I was the only person putting anything into the friendship. And I was like, I wonder what happens if I don't call them.
Yeah.
And that was a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And it's
Maybe
like,
2 years ago.
we had this conversation a little bit with Claire Hooper yesterday, where it's like you can sort of keep bashing your head against the wall with some people before you realise actually our brains just work differently and we're not going to understand each other, and that's no one's fault necessarily.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, it's not as good a combination as we once might have thought. It's not going to fit together in a nice way.
The biggest brain breaking thing that I've ever heard in doing this podcast was we had Ben Shuri, the chef, on, and there's footage on it. You can find it online of me literally going, because all he said literally, it was just very casually, it was such a drive-by, said, I've decided to just stop trying to be friends with people that don't want to be my friend. Mm-hmm. Like, that's kind of what he said, right?
Yeah,
Like, and it's
absolutely.
just like, and it's so simple and so obvious.
Did you feel like you learnt that lesson there?
So it was just before I had decided not to call her anymore. And I was working on a job, and I was talking to another cast member about another cast member who was making, like we felt like we were in high school again, and we felt like we were being breadcrumbed, like, like
gosh.
just...
I can't wait to
cannot
finish
handle
this
that.
record and
You can get all the details.
Are you like that?
That'll be for
And I did, like,
Patreon.
I'm not trying to make it mysterious or anything like
No,
that.
no,
But
no.
like, it was a real heartbreak.
Yeah.
And I remember talking to this friend going, I don't know why I keep like going for breadcrumbs in this
Yeah.
work friendship.
When there's a couple of bread factories down the street,
Yeah,
more
honestly.
than willing to give you
Yeah,
as much bread
yeah.
as you want.
And so we came up with this phrase, which is no more breadcrumbs, only sandwiches.
That's so good.
And then so after this job finished and I got back to the UK, I was like, sandwiches, mate.
Yeah.
And are they making the sandwich with you?
You should have just texted that with no context.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sandwiches, mate.
No more
Well,
breadcrumbs.
it's sort of
only
two
sand-
halves to a sandwich, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's really served me well, where I don't,
Yeah.
because for a long
So
time
you're top or bottom?
I'm a switch. Or verse, whichever community you're in.
You're a switch or reverse.
But it's changed the way that I think and the way that I feel about myself, and I found really good friends because London's really lonely. It's a really hard city. Everyone's spread out. It's difficult to meet up, and so if you're not gigging a lot, and there was a while that I wasn't because I had a young kid and I was a single mum. I still am both of those things, but I'm broke, so I got to work more. So I am seeing friends more. But I made this. I sort of started making a community where I lived, and so the first woman that I went on a date with, when I moved into the place where I am now, she lived 2 suburbs away, and then I had another friend that lived 1 suburb away, and so we do a quiz now.
Oh, yes.
We do like a
Quizzes,
every
the
2 weeks we
ultimate
do
London
a pub quiz.
connector.
It's the best,
that's
and
so
we
good.
message each other every day. We send each other reels every single day, and like feeling like you're a part of somewhere means that you're not scrambling for any sense of community that you can get.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I've got friends in like like, it's a comic called Michelle de Swart, who is just like a ride or die. We made friends, and she was the same. She messaged me before we had our first gig together, and she was like, I'm really excited about meeting you. I really love your work. And I was like, I'm so excited about meeting you too. And she was like, I'd like to be your friend. And I was like, sick, done. And she's the coolest bitch you ever met, and she's so funny. But there's her, Roisin Conady is another, like...
Yeah.
Sindhu V, and I also, these are women, Sindhu and Roisin. When I got that job where I was flying over to Australia, my kid was 5 weeks old.
Wow.
And we had to like pack up our flat, and I had postnatal depression, and we had to pack bags and didn't know. And Roche and Sindhu came over and they folded baby clothes with me and put them in the bags.
Yeah.
And I always think about that with friendship, where I don't want to meet you for coffee. I want to come to your house.
Yeah.
That's where I go. That's where like the little weight on a fishing reel goes plump, and it just settles to the bottom. Like that's what I want. I don't want things that are floating on the surface like fish food.
Yes.
There's a lot of fish metaphors, and I'm sorry.
I like it. I'm into it.
I grew up on Pretty Beach, you know.
Well, that maybe brings us to our final question, Felicity, which is, who is your forever friend?
Who is my forever friend?
Who's the person that, you know, no matter what, they're just going to be there?
I mean...
Because it doesn't even have to be like your best friend. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's this kind of person that you just kind of know.
Oh, this is going to be a really corny answer.
Yeah.
It's my sister.
Yeah.
That's
My
nice.
sister is... I love my sister more than anything in the entire world. She's the greatest person. I have nothing
Older,
but...
younger sister?
She's older. She's 2 years older. And again, she was similar to Shannon. They had a similar dynamic in that they were softer people than me. And I was really judgmental. I was really arrogant, and I always wanted a really close relationship with my sister, and we never really had it until I stopped drinking. And then about a year after, and this is like one of my favourite moments in my whole life, and she told me something that was going on for her, and she never confided in me. And at the end of it, she said, I never would have told you this a year ago because you were just too judgmental. And it was like the gift of giving up drinking and the person that I could become without that in my life. My sister and oh my God, then there's another, oh my God, I've completely forgotten Vaughnie as well. Sorry, it just like...
It can be a list.
You've really got a good group.
I have an
That's pretty
amazing
nice.
group of people.
Yeah.
And I talked to friends
And this
about
is Vince Vaughn.
This is Vince Vaughn. My dear friend Alex Vaughn, she's another person that like we did a play together in like 2003. We became really good mates. There was a whole group of us, and I stayed in contact with that theatre group more than I did with anyone in high school or primary school. And no offence to those people, it's just who I connected with. And Vaughnie was one of them. And then I moved in with her. And then 4 months later, we had a massive fight. I moved out. We didn't speak to each other for like a year and a half. And then I had to make amends because that's about living a good new life.
We're growing, we're learning, we're growing.
My spirit will benefit from this. And I had this idea before I went in to see her to say sorry for my behaviour. And I was like, right, we're going to go into this cafe. I'm going to get a coffee. I'm going to apologise for what I did. I'm going to ask her if there's anything that she needs to tell me. And then I'm going to say thank you so much. And then I'm going to leave and we're never going to talk again. And then I was like, all right, over to you, universe. Let's see what happens. And then we went in. She ordered a fucking steak or something. It was going to take half an hour to cook. I'm like, God damn it. I want to get out of here. And then I sort of like, I said my apologies, and then I said, is there anything that I did that you want to tell me, like how it affected you? And she was like, I think we were both really unwell at the time, and we both had our own stuff. I live in the UK, she lives in Sydney. We speak every single day on the phone, every single day.
Wow.
Like she's divorced, I'm divorced, she's a single mum, I'm a single mum. We're just like constantly talking, and it's like, I feel so... I can't believe I have anyone that I speak to, let alone someone that lives on the other side of the world. I speak to her more in London than I do when I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm going to have dinner with her tomorrow night because she's visiting. But like...
Do you kind of put that down to, like, I'd imagine there are a few relationships, and go into as much detail as you're comfortable with, but like from cleansing your soul and making amends for things, I've wondered before with that process, of, and I guess this is kind of morbid curiosity, but you at the beginning of that process, you go through and you make amends with people.
Yeah.
Is there a moment when, like, maybe years later you're like, fuck, I didn't put that person on the list,
Yeah.
and you're kind of, so it's a constant process, right?
Yeah, but then the amends process is a daily process too.
Yes, okay.
Where you're supposed to look at your behaviour over the day and you go, did I hurt anyone? Did I make anyone feel bad? Did I act out of fear? Did I act out of resentment? Did I act out of self-seeking? You're supposed to do like a little daily inventory. I haven't.
Like the difference between saying it and also demonstrating it and living it.
Yeah. It's like a design for living.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, why I'm more thoughtful. But that process, like, she often says, like, it's one of the best things that's ever happened to her.
Yeah.
And we have an absolutely unbreakable friendship. And even when I do things, it's just a silly thing, but because I'm ADHD, we'd be video calling, FaceTiming, and I'd check other apps while I was talking to her. And she was telling me something really vulnerable. And she said to me, she's like, this is maybe a month ago or something. She goes, can I say something? And I was like, yeah. She goes, when you check other apps and I'm telling you something vulnerable, I feel pretty rejected and I feel like you're not listening. And I was like, I didn't even know I was doing it. And I'm like, no problem whatsoever, buddy.
Yeah.
And like that's
a big one. Yeah.
That could be a little cut that turns into sepsis very quickly in a friendship if you don't have that foundation of being able to say, hey man, this really hurts.
Yeah.
And not being defensive about it, going,
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
absolutely right. I love you. I'll do anything.
Well, and there's a process, I guess, of kind of, what's the word that they use for it? But radical honesty.
Yeah.
Like, you've had to go through a process of radical honesty
Yeah.
anyway, and you're witnessing that often, and you probably build up a more of a comfort around that, right?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Within friendships. Like, it's very healthy for a friendship, I think.
It's really good. And I think like one of the great things that this process has given me over my life, and it'll be 20 years at the end of December, which is mad. But like something that I think that I have very low self-esteem, but there are things that I think I can offer as a person that not a lot of people can. And because I've heard lots of stories that are very harrowing and I've figured out how to listen to them without absorbing them or taking them on, I think that it's really not easy, but it's like a service I can offer as a friend where I can be around people who are incredibly depressed, incredibly negative, or very traumatized by it, like an event that's happened, and I can be a support to them without taking it on or going, God, that's a bit much. Like I can, I think that's like an ear that I've
You can be a carer
developed.
for people, kind of. Like, kind
Yeah.
of, you know what I mean? Not to boil that down, but there are people that work in that part of the world that can be like, I've seen a lot of stuff and I'm going to walk towards it.
Yeah. And so I think that's something that I do in my friendships too, where I'm able to hold a lot.
As we sort of near the end here, of these
Thank
sort
you
of
for keeping us on track.
friends that, it's my job, of these sort of friends, because as we've gone through this question, you've kind of listed people that I could all have been your forever friends,
Yeah.
I feel. What's the unifying characteristic of these people? Like, what is it about these people that they all have alike that is like exactly what you want in a friend that's this close?
Can I suggest one thing?
Yeah.
Female?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to know something really sad? When I was doing Dancing with the Stars, there was a big broadsheet.
Clang.
Clang. I dropped something. There was a big this was in my show and then I dropped it because I couldn't figure out how to make it funnier. But like, there was a big broadsheet that wanted to do a two-page interview, and they didn't tell me what the topic was until the morning of, and they're like, oh, it's male role models in your life. And I had to cancel the interview.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, both my grandparents are dead. I don't speak to my dad. I've got an ex-husband. Like, I don't have lots of... And that sounds really sad, and it's not about being misandrous, but I don't have any male role models. No offense to
No, it's
you,
fine.
Kyran.
But also, lean into misandrous at the moment.
Yeah.
It hasn't been going great.
Yeah. But I call them get on a plane friends. And I feel like if I was in dire trouble, any one of them would get on a plane. Whether I gave them the money or they found the money, they would come to the UK if I was in real trouble. And I reckon I've probably got between 5 and 10 of those.
That's huge.
Well, some of them live in London, but
Yeah.
I still
You could
consider
fill out a
them.
private jet with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's another one who was, again, one of my considerations for fastest friends is a woman, Brona C. Titley, and we work together. And Brona C. Titley,
Okay.
she's an Irish writer, comedian, actor, and we worked together, got along really well, and then we're like, we should have lunch, and then we had lunch one day, and that was it. And
Yeah.
we are just like, we were just in. And
so nice.
again, you just meet people whose, I think when you meet people where your personality, your heart and your souls align,
Yeah.
there's,
Yeah, but a lot of people don't even have one of those sorts of friends. So
Yeah.
I think it also takes someone who is open
Oh, yeah.
To-
sorry.
to being so committed, to open to having, like, to
Yeah.
have 5 to 10. You're obviously someone who's like, would do that for them too.
100%. And,
Yeah.
you know, Shannon had someone pass away that was very close to her probably 10 years ago, 12 years ago now, and I was in Adelaide and I said, I finish tomorrow night and then I'm coming up and I'm going to stay with you for a week. And it's one of the greatest weeks that I've ever had in my life. Again, because as an adult, you don't really get to spend time with your friends. Having said that, I'm staying with Celia Pacquola at the moment, and I'm so fucking lucky.
Yeah, man.
I have so many. I have so many beautiful friends that I've made like along comedy, and sometimes you do feel when you're in the arts where they're all spread out, and you're like, I've got all these beautiful people around the world, but they're not close enough for me to feel held.
Yeah.
And then when I do get to come home, and I was like, and I get to see people like you that I've known for a really long time, like it's magical. And when Cal passed away, I realised that like literally the secret to life for me is female friendship. That is the meaning of life for me.
Yeah.
And so they're the most important relationships in my entire life, and they're things that I tend to as frequently and aggressively as I can, because I don't know what else matters.
Yeah.
I think that's valid for people of every sex. The key is female friendships.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Felicity Ward. What a
Thank
you.
beautiful
That was
chat.
My
Perfect.
favourite
That's
topic.
great.
It's my favourite topic.
Could keep going
you
for
so
hours,
much.
to be honest.
I
Yeah.
know. I'm surprised that we've kept it in time.